Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to my live. My sole purpose in this live is to provide you with simple and practical tools that you can use to increase your self-discipline today, like literally right now, not tomorrow, not in 2023, but literally right now. I feel like a lot of people I've been talking to, every time I ask them about what they've been up to, they're like, yeah, I'm preparing for next year, as if it's December 31st. It is not. It is November 3rd. We still have a lot of time to improve our self-discipline, a lot of time to start gearing up and changing things right now. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be sharing very simple, very practical tips. I actually did an interview the other day, and the woman was like, you have this crazy innate ability to make things so simple and so practical that anyone can go and implement. So that's my whole goal. We're talking about 4 ways to increase your self-discipline today. Hi to everyone watching. If you are watching, please go ahead and say hello in the comments and drop any questions you have around self-discipline. Drop anything that you struggle with when it comes to self-discipline, and I will make sure to touch on it as I'm going through this live. Because what I've been seeing lately is a lot of content around self-discipline, and I don't know if I'm just seeing that because I'm a time management coach, so maybe that's why I'm seeing it so much. But I see a lot of people talking about, motivation is cool, but you're not going to have motivation every day, and you need to have self-discipline instead. And that is a great message. I do believe that motivation is elusive, right? It flows, it ebbs and comes. It's not going to be every single day. And neither is self-discipline. And in the sense that you can practice self-discipline every day, but will you feel like being disciplined every day? No. There's pretty much nothing that you feel every single day but in reality, right? Like our emotions and everything changes every single day. So self-discipline will look different on different days. Some days you're at 100, other days you'll be at like 40 or 50%. But the whole point is that you learn how to actually become self-disciplined in the first place. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Because if you want to be successful, and however you define success, you're going to have to learn how to be disciplined, because discipline is our ability to deal with that discomfort, to push past our comfort zone, and to make sure that we are showing up for ourselves. And a lot of times when we're not self-disciplined, it's when we are falling short. It's when we beat ourselves up the most. And I don't want that to be you anymore. So that's why I'm going to be addressing this issue. And I pretty much see self-discipline as like the bridge between the goals that you have and the goals that you've accomplished, right? It takes a level of discipline to get there. And for many people, they often feel like they don't have self-discipline, that they're not self-disciplined, but majority of us are self-disciplined in some aspect of our lives, even if it feels like it's forced upon us because of, like a job or somebody else holding us accountable or things we feel obligated to show up to. You do have self-discipline in some area. And that's something I always say to my clients, and I always remind them that even though you think you don't have self-discipline, you do have self-discipline in some area. And what I especially help people do is extract those skills that you're using, that self-discipline that you're using in other areas, and learn how to use it in areas that are going to actually enhance you and bring you closer to the goals that you're trying to achieve. People with higher self-discipline are generally happier, they are more productive, they know how to let go of instant gratification, and they think more long-term. And honestly, just being more disciplined makes you more happy. Like it brings you more contentment in your life when you have self-discipline. If anyone watching is not familiar with me, hello, I'm Sade Kelly. I'm a time management coach, and I specialize in helping high achievers learn how to manage their time so that they can achieve their goals in less time, as well as do it without having to sacrifice their self-care and without feeling so stressed all of the time. So, if you don't know exactly what self-discipline is, I'm going to define it, because I think it's one of those words that we know kind of what it is, and we all have different ways of thinking about it, but we don't exactly know what it is. So self-discipline is your ability to control your feelings and overcome your weaknesses. It's your ability to pursue what you say you're going to do, essentially. Like, it's your ability to do what you say you're going to do and actually show up for yourself, and to deal with that discomfort that comes up every single time you are trying to become self-disciplined. Because that comes up strictly because we all feel resistance to new things. So it's really vital for us to get used to feeling that and to push past it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about why that comes up, but it's just a part of our human design. So we have to learn how to work with that human design. So I don't know exactly who's on, but someone's on, so hi. And I want to know why you turned into this live. Like, are you struggling with self-discipline in any areas? How can I address that? Drop any questions that you have around self-discipline in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer those. But so far, essentially what I was talking about is just why self-discipline is important and the definition of self-discipline. So let me know in the comments if you're struggling with self-discipline. But the first thing I want to share before I go into the 4 ways to increase it is the 2 ways in which we are affected by our self-discipline. So the 2 things that we have to think about when we're trying to become more disciplined is first our environment, and second, how much sleep we're getting. Probably didn't think the second one was going to affect us so much, but as I was learning more about self-discipline and as I've become an expert in it, I've seen this with firsthand in my own clients, how much it affects them. So I'm going to talk about both of those. So the 2 ways in which we exercise self-discipline and we are through environment and sleep. So our environment plays a big part in how disciplined we are, in the sense that our discipline is not some like predetermined trait. It's something that we acquire over time based on the skills that we decided to build up. So if you feel like you're lacking self-discipline, most of the time it's because you haven't set your environment up for success, and meaning that it could be as simple as like you don't have a strict or a set work environment where you do your work, or maybe it's that sorry guys, I had to block some of my phone. Maybe it's that you don't have a set environment where you do your work, or maybe it's that you keep your phone in front of you while you're working. Like, think about the environment that you set up when you're trying to be disciplined. That's really, really important, because you really get distracted by things very simply. And a lot of times it comes down to like, are you getting distracted by like your phone? Do you get easily distracted by like clutter? Are you easily distracted by what's going on in your kitchen? Think about the ways in which you are easily distracted, and you have to make changes to your environment in order to become more disciplined. If you keep going into the same environment, it's almost like when you keep doing the same things again and again and then expecting a different result. It's probably something in your environment that's affecting you and the way you're showing up as being disciplined. The second thing that affects you, like I mentioned, is sleep. So there's so much research that shows that sleep deprivation is associated with a decrease in how your brain actually functions, right? So we have a decrease in brain activity when we get less sleep. So if you're on average getting less than like 6 hours, you are usually depriving yourself of your brain activity in your prefrontal cortex, which I won't go too much into like the brain, but the whole purpose of the prefrontal cortex is it's your decision maker. So if you are not getting enough sleep, if you're not eating well, not drinking water, essentially not taking care of yourself very well, you're going to start making really poor decisions. So a lot of times what I've seen before in clients before we got their like schedules together is that they get frustrated very easily when they're trying to do like something hard, or they turn to like junk food or things that they crave when they're stressed. And a lot of those decisions that we're making are not only habitual, but they're happening because we're sleep deprived. So when you're trying to become self-disciplined, don't be so hard on yourself if you are lacking sleep and then you're in a chaotic environment. Those are 2 things you're going to definitely want to change. So this is going to vary depending on like your situation and what's going on, because it's going to be depending on each person. But I've seen this a lot in people, and they don't think about these 2 things when they're thinking about becoming self-disciplined. They just think it's like something they can't get good at, when in actuality, self-discipline is just a skill, and it's something that every single person can build up on. So there is hope for you. So I'm going to get into the 4 ways to increase your self-discipline. But definitely drop in the comments. Let me know if you're struggling with self-discipline, if there's any areas that I can talk to as I'm going through this. But the first way to increase your self-discipline is to train yourself to delay gratification. One of the most important characteristics of success within your health, your wealth, your life, and your ability to delay gratification. This one is so powerful because it actually increases your willpower. And Self-discipline essentially is you training your willpower muscle. Like in my head, I just said it, muscle. In my head, willpower, self-discipline, all of those things are muscles that you have to train up. If you cannot train those muscles, you cannot expect them to get better. So how do you train yourself to delay gratification? You have to stop giving yourself the reward right away. So they did this really interesting marshmallow study. And I think it was really, really interesting because it said a lot about people in general. Video keeps crashing on me. Oh, can you guys see me? Otherwise, am I just talking to the screen? I don't know. Instagram has been a little glitchy lately, so let me know if you can see me. Hopefully you can. Hopefully. Is everything good? Can you guys hear and see me? Someone let me know. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Because somebody said the video was crashing, but all right, cool. So what was I saying? Oh, I was telling about the marshmallow study. Hey. So what I was saying, that this study is so interesting because it said a lot about like human behavior. So essentially these scientists in 1972, they were doing this research on these kids, and they put these kids into a room, right? And they told the kids, I'm going to give you a marshmallow. So they dropped the marshmallow like right in front of them. And they said, if you eat the marshmallow now, you won't be able to get a second one. But if you can wait until we come back with the second one, then you'll be able to eat it. So they did this test to kind of see how many kids would go and just eat the marshmallow, not care about the second one, and just want the instant gratification. And how many of them would wait so that they could get a second marshmallow and have double the treats. And they found that the kids who ended up waiting and getting the second marshmallow and showed that they were good at delaying gratification ended up having lower rates of obesity, better responses to stress, better social skills, and they had higher test scores like throughout the rest of their life. And they followed these kids from 1972 to like 40 years later, still like following what these kids were doing. And the ones who stuck for the instant gratification did worse, like had horrible test scores in comparison. They were bigger, had more health challenges. They had more responses, like poor responses to stress. They had less social skills and community around them. Like, it was crazy how there was such a huge difference in their behaviors. And it says a lot towards how important it is for us to delay gratification. So as I was reading that study and learning more about it, I actually applied that to my life. So a couple years ago, when I was still working corporate, if anyone here doesn't know, I worked in advertising, and I also had like 3 side businesses, and that's how I ended up determining that I was going to become a full-time entrepreneur, and that's what I am now. But when I was doing that, I used to come home from work and I literally would make myself delay gratification. And it was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life, but I had to do it. I wanted to be able to work out, and I also wanted to grow my business. So what I would do every time I got off of work, no matter how late it was, y'all, because I would usually supposed to get out at like 5:36, but I would usually get out like maybe 6, maybe 6:30, sometimes 7. I would always make sure that I would go straight to the gym, like literally straight there. And then after I got to the gym, I would literally go straight home. And before I would even I would eat dinner or whatever, but before I would allow myself to like relax or unwind for the day, I always made sure that I took some time to work on one of my businesses. So if that was uploading a photo to my blog or writing a blog post or whatever it was that had to do with my business, sending an order out because I had an e-commerce business, or if it was like organizing an event, whatever it was, I told myself I would spend at least 30 minutes doing that every single day after work, unless I had other plans. And that got me so far. And it also taught me a lot of discipline. That really helped me to learn how delaying gratification made me also feel really good at the end of the day, right? So my second tip, the first one was delaying that gratification. If you can learn to delay gratification, you will absolutely increase your self-discipline. The second tip was setting up rewards to motivate you. So that reward of knowing that, okay, if I go to the gym, and if I work on my business for at least 30 minutes, even after I just worked all day at a job, then I will allow myself to relax or unwind, talk to a friend, watch my favorite movie, watch a show, like eat ice cream, whatever the reward was for the night. I knew that my brain, and if you don't know this, our brains are wired for rewards. We love rewards. Who doesn't like a gift? Everyone loves a gift. Everyone loves a reward. Our brains are wired for those things. So if we can use that part of our brain and our wiring and our normal behaviors for us, it's always going to work out in our favor. So if you really want to increase your self-discipline in a certain area, like let's say you want to increase your self-discipline in terms of like going to the gym. If you can give yourself a reward after each time you go to the gym, it's going to reinforce that you're going to keep going to the gym. You're going to enjoy going to the gym. You're going to have a reward, something you're going to look forward to at the end of the day. So you really want to make sure that you are setting up rewards for yourself, so that you can have something to look forward to each time that you are doing a task. The third way in which you can increase your self-discipline is to embrace the uncomfortableness. So like I was mentioning earlier, like there's always going to be this resistance when it comes to self-discipline. It's just because we're pushing ourselves to do something new. A lot of times when we're becoming disciplined at something new, it's hard. There's this resistance. We don't want to do it. We're scared we're going to fall short because we fall short in the past. I want you to let go of all of that and embrace the uncomfortableness. Know that anyone who's self-disciplined does not show up excited and want to do it every single day. That will be motivation. Motivation is what gives us that excitement. It makes us want to do things every day. Discipline is showing up for yourself and identifying as somebody who shows up for themselves and doing it despite whatever feelings that you have, right? One way I embrace the uncomfortableness is I did a Fearless February challenge. I did it 2 years. I did it in 2020. I did it in 2019. I don't think I did it last year. But what I would do for a whole month is make myself do something scary every single day. And some of you watching this may not want to do something this extreme, but I do love challenges because I think what challenges do is really help you increase your self-discipline. Challenges also really help you to push yourself, and it gives you a benchmark to like track your progress as well. So one thing I did in February was every single month I did something that was scary to me. Like I spoke at an event, I hosted events. If someone asked me to do something and I immediately felt fear, I said yes. Like I was just training myself to embrace uncomfortableness, because the more we can get out of our comfort zone, the more we know we're living. And honestly, I've used that challenge and like manifested that in my life, and to the sense where what I mean by that is that each week I make sure to put something on my calendar that makes me uncomfortable. Like every single week I'm trying to figure out what can I do that's out of my comfort zone. What is something I can try and do that's new? Because at the end of the day, no day is promised to us, right? So every morning when we wake up, we should be grateful for that we're here. Like we're already winning because we're still here, right? So my thought is always, okay, this week, how can I do something that's out of my comfort zone, something new, something that makes me feel like I'm living and doing something new and different and growing in a different way. So each and every single day, I've taken the things I've learned from like doing Fearless February challenges or saying yes to things I wouldn't normally say yes to. And I'm taking those aspects of my life and figuring out, okay, how can I do something new this week that's going to push me, that's going to help me grow, that's going to push me out of my comfort zone, because that's where real growth is formed, right? Your brain is always going to say, I don't feel like it, I don't want to do that, because your brain is wired to keep you safe. And I think when you learn more about the brain, like when I work with my clients and I teach them more principles around like why they're doing the things they're doing, they see it as less, oh, this is a woe's me, this is my problem only, and they understand that, oh, I'm having XYZ issues because of habits I've learned growing up or things that my brain is wired to do that's outside of my control, but I can learn to use it in an advantage for myself. So I think learning these things is really, really important. And that's why I'm so much of a researcher. And a lot of my program, my Overwhelmed to Organized coaching program, is built up on principles that I've learned, condensed, and made short, little, practical, simple tips, and that people can implement right away, right? And they can change their lives in like 2 to 3 months. It's absurd. But yeah, so the 4 ways, I'm about to get to the fourth. The first one, 4 ways you can increase your self-discipline, like today, right now, not tomorrow, not next year, not next month, right now, is first you have to set up, first you have to train yourself to delay gratification. That's number 1, train yourself to delay gratification, right? Second is make sure that you are setting up rewards to motivate you, because we are wired for rewards. The third is embrace the uncomfortableness. It's always going to be there, but if you can just learn to embrace it, you will grow and you will become self-disciplined. You'll be able to stick it out more than 99% of people. Most people won't do these things that I'm sharing on this live, right? they're not even concerned with becoming self-disciplined because they think they just can't become self-disciplined in the first place. Which leads me to my fourth way in which you can increase your self-discipline, and that is going to be to shift your identity. It's really important to stop telling yourself, I'm not disciplined, I'm trying to start meditating, I'm trying to work out. Stop trying and start doing, right? Like as soon as you replace your trying with doing, and you replace your shift in your identity and how you see yourself, that is where the true change is going to come about, right? Like I'm very big on like any journey they're about to start has to start with self-awareness, and it has to start with a shift in your identity. Because if not, I've seen this time and time again. People want strategies. It's cool to want strategies and tips and hacks, and that's the stuff we see online. That's stuff we see on, everywhere around us. But at the end of the day, those hacks, those strategies, those tips will fade out if your mindset and the way you're viewing your life and your perspective doesn't change. So if you can't shift your identity and how you're identifying, you will not see a long-term change. It's why anybody who's a coach really should be touching on mindset, because it's really, really important in terms of any journey that you're trying to go on. So I'm very big on like, let's work on your mental toughness, because that's going to help you to increase your willpower. That's going to help you to increase your self-discipline. How are you currently identifying? How are you currently seeing your time and your discipline? All of those things are going to play into whether or not you're able to progress the way you want to. Does anybody have any questions on the 4 ways to increase your self-discipline? That was all I had for you guys. Very short and simple. 4 best ways to increase self-discipline: make sure that you are delaying gratification, make sure that you are setting up rewards to motivate you to do these things, and also make sure that you are embracing uncomfortableness. And then 4th one is shifting your identity. Any questions on self-discipline? Anything I could help you get disciplined in? These are the 4 main principles that if you can start doing these, even if you start with 1 and increase it over time and implement these 4 things into your life, I guarantee that you will increase your self-discipline. Discipline, in my eyes, is the strongest form of self-love. And I don't know if you've ever heard anyone say that before, but that's how I see it. Like, that's how I found love with being disciplined. I learned about it and I was just like, this is, when you think about it, discipline is like a really deep, strong form of self-love. It's like ignoring pleasures and things you need immediately and doing the things you say you're going to do for yourself, and like really showing up in the way you say you're going to. It's like the best form of self-love, because many of us will not show up for ourselves, or will show up for like our parents, our significant other, will show up for our friends, our other family members, will show up for our coworkers, our jobs, our business, whatever, but we don't show up for what we exactly need, like what we need. So to me, self-discipline, learning to increase your willpower, it really helps you to just like fall more in love with yourself. And like, why would you not want to do that, right? The more you love yourself, the more love you can pour out to the world. That's personally why I love self-discipline. I feel like it's just like giving yourself everything you ever wanted. Like if you have a goal or a dream and you're not where you want to be yet, and you don't feel like you're working towards it, why would you not want to learn the skills that will help you get there? Because in my eyes, if you're not learning the skills to help you want to get there, then you're just self-sabotaging. And I've been there. I was a self-sabotager. Like, this is why I'm a coach now, because I have been through all the motions of like feeling like my time management wasn't good, or feeling like I'm not going to be able to accomplish my goals, and then learning that all I really need to do is build up my skills. Anything that I'm not good in, anything that I need to learn can be learned. Like self-discipline, willpower, this is all things that you can learn. It's a skill you can build up over time. And I guarantee that you have something you are already disciplined in, and all you need is just to learn how to take that skill that you're already using and transfer it into something you really want to be doing. So, any questions before I get off of here? 2023 it's crazy. It's coming very, very soon. And if you want to be better in the new year, I recommend you to DM me, right? Let's connect. DM me the word time, and let's discuss how I can help you achieve your goals for next year, right? Let's get the ground rolling right now. If you are interested in learning how you can better set your goals, how you can actually create them where it's bite-sized, step-by-step, and it's a process for you to get there, and you know how to map it out really clearly. If you want to learn how to set up better habits, get more disciplined, set better boundaries, and you want to learn how to figure out how you can stop wasting so much time in a day, I can get you there. On average, I save my clients 4 hours a day. I can find 4 hours in almost anyone's day. Like, I love the challenge. If you think I can't, book a call with me because I absolutely can. I hope clients save at least 4 hours a day. I always can find gaps in your day that you're not even seeing because I have an eye for that and I'm trained to do that, right? I'm an expert in that area. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and DM me and we can chat about how I can do a time audit for you, how I can identify where your gaps are in your time management and create a solid plan for you to be using that time better, as well as see if one of my coaching programs would be great for you so that you can start the ground off rolling in 2023. I don't see any questions. If you have any questions about discipline, drop them. If not, then I will be posting this replay so you can catch the 4 ways to increase your self-discipline. And like I said, if you really want to start achieving your goals in less time, you really want to learn how to better manage your time, feel more content and more fulfilled in your life with how your time is being managed, DM me, let's have a discussion, and I would love to help you because I love helping high achievers achieve more things. We're all high achievers. I'm a high achiever. I attract high achievers, and I just want us to achieve everything we want to achieve. Like, that's just my main goal. I want us to just achieve all of our goals, have time to just like do whatever the heck we want, indulge in self-care, travel, just live a life, but also feel content with like what we're achieving and doing it in a way that feels really nice and really natural to us. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday I go live, and I always ask you guys what topics you want to be covered in my story, so look out for that. I always post that, and you can vote for whatever you want to be shared. So have a good night.